All right. So let's now continue and
Rajesh, sorry.
try to understand the components which are going to be a part of it.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, Rajesh. Instead of if I want to add that an email address that is not in the Active Directory, that I need to send to that email that what who am I want to add instead of Azure Directory.
You can go and invite them, right? This one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that means that here we will invite the user to this Active Directory and we can send it in the DevOps, right?
Every organization has got the guest users and the contractors and other stuff. So you're going to invite them. Why? Because you're not maintaining their credentials. You're just onboarding them. This is where the B2B comes up. All right.
Okay. Okay. I think instead of not calling this thing, we can use in the same in the DevOps itself, right?
Yes, yes, you can. You can directly invite from there itself also. That's possible.
Okay.
But
Oh.
doing with this way, at least you can you're adhering to the policies of the Azure AD. You can enforce the identity protection, identity governance policies, multi-factor authentication, conditional access policies onto the guest right
Okay.
away within that. That's the benefit. Otherwise, I would have
Okay.
invited up the user directly
Mhm.
within from here itself, right? So if I go down
Yeah.
here, I can say invite from here itself also. Just
Okay.
adding up an invite, they won't be added to the Azure AD minded. They are okay. So you're inviting them separately. So you don't have a much control. It's better to go with this one. This approach is
Okay.
okay.
Okay. If you're having like 100 users, that we need to add these 100 users manually,
You
or
can
we need to.
you can make up a bulk invite itself also.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
You can
Okay.
do you can
Thanks,
do a
Rajesh.
bulk invite itself also. All right. Okay. So let's continue. So see, when it comes to the complete cycle, where are we going to start from? We are going to start off somewhere itself from the when you onboard up a project. Now this project can be any. Is it rightly? Is it only with the application development or a database? No. It can be for any kind of a project which you want to go and integrate within your DevOps cycle. Maybe let's say tomorrow, or if in case if I say that okay, I want to go with the infrastructure deployment. I want to go with the deployment of the infra. Will I be able to achieve the same with the DevOps cycle? Yes. How? You are going to use up infrastructure as a code. And the same infrastructure as a code can be added within a project and the entire cycle can be executed up. So it's not only the applications DevOps. It's not only the database DevOps. Tomorrow, in case if I want to go and push up the Azure policies, compliance policies within my subscription, I can do with the server. I can push it out simply with the DevOps cycle. So this Azure DevOps is going to help you in many other aspects. So once you onboard up a project, so once you get up a project, what do you start off from? You start off simply with the what? You go with the developer. Now, when it comes to the developer itself, what are there only one developer? There will be multiple developers. There will be multiple developers. And whether itself, what approach they are going to take up. Brownfield or greenfield. What approach they are going to take up. That again depends. Now, obviously, the project needs some sort of a code, right? Whether they are going to use the same similar like existing codes from the previous projects that can be reutilized, or they are going to go something with a completely fresh scratch. So either of the approaches. It's not that okay, one of the approaches is preferable and the preference is there. No, It depends on the organization whether they're willing to go with the scratch or whether they want to use some of the existing scripts and some of the existing codes, which is going to help us to build up that project. So either of the approaches is preferable, brownfield or a greenfield itself, scratch or existing ones. And definitely yes, the first part becomes they're going to use any kind of an ID tool. Now these are the development tools, like say for example, you've got a Visual Studio, you've got a Visual Studio Code, you've got a Git, and many other tools are there. The way they can do the development, simple. We are not going to get into those tools in depth basically, but again it depends what tool you're going to use up. So most likely, like say you might come across with the VS Code, you might come across with a like a Visual Studio. These are few of the common ones, but again there are many. Trust me, there are many. So somewhere itself, you are going to start it from here itself, right? Second is here. So definitely yes, they will be having some their own development machines, right, where the development is going to happen, where the local code is going to reside. So obviously each and every developer will be starting with their own project, with their own features, with their own functionalities, with their own permissions and access level. What is this being considered? This is being simply considered as what? Local repository. That means my code is going to reside here itself. Now every developer has its own local code. Maybe this project has been divided into subdivisions basically. Maybe one of the developer is working on the index part, another one is working on a billing part, another working on a layout part, another working on a, like say, functions. So everyone is working on a different feature, and each one of these ones, what? These are all being considered as local repositories. Means I can say mine, my codes, mine. But going with all of these sections, going with all of these codes and other stuff, what's going to be the challenge? The challenge would be what? What would be the challenge? Can anyone tell me here, please? There are multiple developers. They are sitting with their own codes and other stuff. What is the challenge?
Merging.
Sorry?
Merging.
Yes, exactly. That's true. Why? Because see, at this particular point, you're working with a local repository. The challenge would be at times, which is called versioning. Or you can say, I need some sort of a mechanism where I can go with a source control, where itself I can go and track what changes have been done and who made those changes, who committed those changes. I need some sort of a source control mechanism. Definitely, yes, there are various ways. So whether you want to go with the centralized, whether you want to go with the decentralized, distributed. And among those ones, one of the distributed mechanism, the one which is being recommendable is, although there are some centralized mechanism, but this is again a distributed. Why? Because here itself you can go and set up what? You can go and set up your branches. So I need some sort of a source control mechanism where I'm going to get it from. So it's simple like that. Here, I need some sort of a mechanism which would be considered as my remote. And this will be none other than, it's going to be my remote repository, where I'm going to keep up my remote repository itself. Again, I've got a GitHub. Are there any other remote repositories where I can go and keep up my code itself? Yes, there are many. And among those ones, one of the, if I'm looking up from the Azure DevOps services, what do you have? You have Azure Repos. So when you go with Azure Repos, at least we can go and identify, okay, what kind of a source control we are looking for, whether you are going with a Git or whether we are going with a centralized or decentralized or distributed. So definitely, yes, this is going to give you one repository itself, where itself you can get something what is being referred as branch. So when I go with the default itself, at least we have one as a default branch, and that branch is none other than your master. So this is my local repository, this is my remote repository itself. Definitely, yes, from here itself, somewhere the relation and the integration has to be done in such a manner that you can go with what mechanism? You can go with a push, pull, merge, whatever the name you say, sync.
Pull.
Pull, I mentioned, yes, push, pull. Yes, I mentioned that. Thank you. Now, again, on those cases, this plays a very key role. Why? Because again, at the project level, we are going to define the permissions. So this is where my local developers, this is where my remote repository is. So definitely, as for the Git, if in case if I go with the Git itself, you've got multiple branches. Why you are structuring with the branches itself? What is the reason behind it? Because you want to give the developers to work on their own features and functions. And then after you can go and merge here itself. That means the branch, the structure for the branch creation and management, that is also one of the important phases. Although you got one default branch, but you can manage multiples. Can anyone give me one good reason that why should I go with multiple branches? I need one good reason why should I have multiple branches.
To make a easy rollback.
Sorry?
To revert the changes if anything goes wrong or.
Okay. Okay.
To make the code secure.
Actually, developer.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, developer is written the code and fix the errors in the future branch after merging into the main branch, master branch.
So simple like that, you can say that I'm getting some sort of a.
Yeah, so to allow parallel development on different kind of areas and to push like at a different times.
Yes. So somewhere itself we are providing some sort of a basic isolation, right? In terms of permissions, in terms of access, in terms of deployment, in terms of testing, in terms of configuration, permissions. So you're setting up the isolations, right? So most of the developers, they are working on different features and on different branches too. Tomorrow, in case if I say that okay, the person who is working on a billing section, he should only go and update the relevant branch where the billing codes is residing. Why should I go and give him the access for these ones? Obviously, I'm going to give him only the access to that particular branch itself, where the billing information, the code is going to reside up. So that's how it happens. Why? Because it gives you isolation. So the better way to manage it. So what I'm getting up, I'm getting version control for the Git itself here. Although there are multiple ones. Now, when I go with the branches itself, it's possible that you can go for each and every single branch, you can go and set up the policies and the permissions too. So setting up the branches is also very important. How many branches do you need? By the way, tell me one thing. One quick question to all of you. When I go and set up a branch, how many branches do I need? Is there any specific number? Is there any particular, okay, these many number of branches are required? Or based on what decisions, based on what business factors are you going to create up those branches? How many branches you're going to create? So there is no specific number. Please go ahead. Someone was saying something, I guess.
No, it's based on the business requirement.
Yes. It's simply based on the business requirement. So there is no specific number behind that one. The one who is answering, he can be on unmute, and the rest, please be on mute, right? Okay, so branches are there, and structuring of the branches are there. So where I'm going to start off from, let's say here. So what I'm going to create up first? What do I need up some? Obviously, I need a project. Let's say, is it? Okay. Now, whether I'm going to go with the visibility of public or private, that's up to us. Ideally, itself, in case if we want to give an access to our own organization, employees or something, then definitely yes, I'm going to go with the private itself. And by the way, here itself, if you go to the advanced, you see version control. The default is Git, or else you've got a centralized, which is a team foundation version control. This was quite commonly being used up earlier, but now preferably the choice is here with the Git. Now, once this project is created up, we don't have any code. It's all empty. So where is this code going to come up from? This code is definitely going to come up from here itself.
Just one quick question.
Now,
Can I ask? Hello.
say it again.
Yeah, shall I ask one question? Hello.
Yes, I had asked. Yes, tell me what happened.
Yes, I need to ask, like, you created this project, but I need to know that in which subscription it went by default. If I need to create in particular subscription, then how it will?
Right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yes, right now. How do we identify that in which subscription it got created? By default, currently by default we have only one subscription. But in case of a multiple subscription, by default, how it didn't ask anywhere while creating the branches and project.
While you create up a DevOps organization, while you create up the project, these are not stored in your subscription right now, please. These are not stored there.
Okay.
Azure subscription is altogether, a purpose of that one is altogether different. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So see, before moving down itself, if you see here, if you go to the project setting, here itself we get, see, for each and every project, you have project settings. And there is one section which is being referred as teams. So whenever you create up a project itself, you get one team by default, by the name of the same project. So in a simple terminology itself, you can try to understand team is nothing but a group a group of users with a certain roles and delegations. So probably it becomes easy for us to go and set up the similar structure within our own DevOps organization itself, within the project setting. So you can go and create up a team. Now, how many teams you require? That again depends on my requirement. Again, let's say, for example, if I want to have one as a build team, I can have one as a build team. Probably you can add members later itself also, or let's say, see, Sam. So here itself, I'm going to take up a benefit of my all corporate users. Say, okay, is it? Now, when you're creating up the teams, these teams they don't have any access level right now itself. So you can create such a kind of team. Let's say, okay, for example, compliance team is there. All right. Sorry. Compliance team is there, and probably the some of the users. So this way, at least, see, whoever is going to be part of my DevOps organization, definitely, yes, I can create multiple teams. Reason, access, permissions, delegation, security, tracking, delegating the task. So there are very benefits. Now, how you're going to use them? See here. If I go to the permissions, now you can see that, okay, there are some build administrators and other. So we created up a team, let's say this. What we just created up. So if you go to that, here itself you can go and set up the permissions at different levels. Right now, just to remind you, I'm at the project setting. So whether they have got the appropriate privileges to delay the team project, whether they want to go with the test runs or something. Who are the members? Okay, you can add them simply from the Azure AD. And Azure AD, assuming that it's already integrated with the on-prem, you can call up all the corporate IDs if required. So this way, at least you can go and set up and customize your permissions. But before that one, it's always a better approach so that you can go and create a multiple team. Tomorrow you need some of approvals. You need to set up approvers. Conditional approvers are there. So you can use these teams there itself also. Tomorrow you want to assign up a task. I can go and assign up a task to that team itself. So it becomes tracking, traceability becomes easy. So no need to go to the Azure AD and go and set up the groups. I can simply create up here and I can add up the members into the Azure from the Azure AD if required.
So we have access at the org level and then at the project level, correct? So if I understand, there was some kind of an access, basic access given at the organization setting, correct?
Correct.
So if let's say the basic will have access to, the user would have access to all the projects, or the project setting is where it is going to play a role, like which project they'll have access under the org.
When we go to the deeper stage, when we go and traverse, this helps you to go and stop the inheritance, customize the permission other than the basic. Basic is giving you the access to the most of the features, no doubt. But these additional permissions that gives you the leverage, so you can leverage them. Like say you can take up a benefit of customizing it and restricting them to the specific level of an access, right? Just sticking with the basic level won't help you out. Okay.
So, okay. What if we, at the project level, only when we add the team, like when we add the users, they will have access to the project, right? Otherwise, they'll have an access to the org, but they will not have access to the project.
Correct. That's good. That's correct. That is the reason. That is the reason for which we go and structure them.
And under the project, the branching also has a permission, or that's something that we are going to come next?
See, right now you are at the project level. Within the project, there are many services. You've got a boards, you've got a repos, you've got a pipelines, you've got artifacts. So at every single service, at every different depth level, you can go and customize a permission as per your own requirement.
Okay. Got it.
Got my point?
Yeah.
So we're going to see some of those ones itself also once I get created up. So okay. So let's proceed. So Teams is there, and you can go and set up the permissions this way. Although there are many other properties, we're going to see them itself also. So right now we don't have any repo. This is the default, but we don't have any kind of code itself. So ideally this code comes up This code comes up from the developers, right? This one. So, but there are some ready-made codes which are also available for your samples for your test purposes. So for that itself, you can visit this website, Azure DevOps demo generator. This one. So this will give you a flexibility. See, here it's also you can create an organization, all right? And this will give you a flexibility that there are some sample templates. Sample projects are there, the one on which you can play around, you can test around, you can see. But these are not the real, anyone's owned. These are all open ones. So let's say, for example, if I say sign in. All right, so it says here, okay, then never mind. So let me just go and figure it out. But because now my account is associated to the directory itself also, the Azure AD, and I need to switch that directory itself. And this is my organization, right? So let me go to this page and say sign in. So from here, sir, you can have a flexibility to pick and choose the template. All right, see, there are various templates, and these are all the sample projects which are available. Some of them are Java based, some of them are based on YAML, some of them they are based on Classic, some of them they are based on .NET, Docker based. So definitely, yes, I'm going to share these ones with you so that you can try later. But right now, I'll just pick up one of those ones just for your testing purposes. All right. It's not a concern that okay, I need to pick up this or need to pick up. I'll just pick up randomly. I'm just picking up one of these ones and say, okay, this is my first project. Okay. Under this organization, that project would be imported up.
Yeah, Rajesh, I have one query. Arjun here. Yeah, can you please go to that DevOps console and user settings permissions? Yeah, can you please click on the permissions and click on any contributor? No, click on Teams. Sorry, Teams.
This itself is a team also. Right? So this is also one of the groups. Yes.
Yeah. Is there any here administrator is there, right? Can we add users into administrator? Exactly in Teams. Go to click on the Teams. Under Teams, we have created one group, right? In that group, we settings is there, right? Yeah, here, just scroll down. Here, administrator is there, right? Can I add normal users as administrator?
Yes, you can. Say add.
What will be the impact?
No impact. You are adding multiple admins as a team members here. It's so simple like that. What's going to be impact?
Okay, there is no any challenge. Can we ask project owner as administrator? Can we make it as?
Oh yes, you can. You can get, let's say for example, I want to make this user as a, I'm pulling it out from the Azure AD, all right? I'm making him as an additional admin. So he's a complete admin of my project. He can manage anything.
He can manage. He can himself add users and modify his existing
Yes,
privileges.
yes.
Okay.
By default, you've got only one, right?
Okay, I understood. Thank you. Go ahead. Yeah.
By the way, can you please confirm if you guys have received? Okay, I've got a query, Dilip, for multiple environment. Okay, that's fine. So, have you received any email regarding the DMOC or Azure Pass on your email ID and the corporate email ID, the one which you registered with the? Ah, but I'm pretty sure that you all of you marked your attendance, right? The link which I provided up. No worries. You can just wait for a while. Wait for some time. Probably you might receive. Okay. Cool. So see now the project is ready, right? See, navigate to the project. See, ideally this project would be coming up, as I told you, from the local repository itself, right? For sure. So if in case if you're willing to see that, see, I'll just show you here, LMS. Let me go and launch. Okay, hang on. I'll just get the URL. Basically, I'm just missing that URL right now for some reason. Not this one. No, not. I'm clicking on the wrong one itself. Okay. Anyways, I'll just come back with the right link, and then I'm going to show it to you how you can manage. All right. Okay. So see now itself we have got a code here, right? Forget about what code is this. Doesn't matter at the moment right now for us. So if I go to the project setting, you can control. If you go to the repositories here, you can go and set up. You can. If you go to that repository, and from there itself also you can control of the permissions. So right now you are not at the project level, you are at the repository level where you can go and, although you can say that, okay, if you don't want to get permissions inherited from the project, let's stop that one and say, okay, so Sam, I want to give him a specific privilege, whether to bypass the policies, contribute, create a branch and delete and whatever. So you can manage this way. All right. And if once I go to my project here itself, what I was referring up to, which was repos, branches. Forget about these ones, right? Just ignore them. The default is master, always. That's you've got only one as a default, which is master. The rest is all custom. So let's not focus onto these ones. Let's say, for example, if you've got a master, and if I want to control over this one, see. So every single branch has its own security and policies and law. Tomorrow, if you want to create up a new branch, let's say, okay, demo dev branch, all right. Then itself you've got to control itself that who's going to use this branch. Delete history, lock so that nobody can make up any changes, and policies and security. So for that specific branch itself also you can control that who is allowed to make up the changes, who is allowed to contribute to that particular branch. See, that's the reason I told you that that's the better approach, so that if you've got multiple teams like this, it becomes easy for you to manage them. So this is at the branch level. Now tomorrow what do you do? Tomorrow, let's say for example, if I'm going all across with the structures, I'm managing it, you're here, you're maintaining up, and then you're coming down here. So if in case if I say that if I want to go and connect, and if I go to the repository here, you can make up a clone. Which ID tool you're going to use? See, there are various IntelliJs and VS Code is there, Visual Studio is there, App Code is there, Git is there. There are many. Depending on what the developers are using up, what tools they're going to use up, they can preferably use up these ones too.
Yeah, Rajesh, here ID is there, right? Only these are available. If I want to include any ML related, machine learning related, how can I?
Maybe let's say for example, if those are the ones which are compatible, you can just try to open up the same portal or the same link there itself also, and you can go and import it. It's possible.
It's possible, right? TensorFlow and PyTorch.
Yeah, let's say you got a Visual Studio and many others are there, you can go and integrate them. Probably you just need to see how they can be integrated, and the process might be a bit different, but yes, it's possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So see, right now itself we have been working on the repositories, and this is all with the existing projects. So ideally itself, where are the changes coming up from? The changes are all coming up from here. All right. And they have been saying push, pull, merge, whatever. So if in case if you've got multiple branches, so here itself, between the multiple branches itself, what are you going to do? You're going to say that pull request. And you say merge. And with the merge itself, we can also resolve some of the conflicts. Most likely, let's say if in case if you are using some of the ID tools, the local ID tools, there itself you can go and resolve the conflicts. So when it comes to the resolve of the conflicts, which changes are you going to keep up? So let's say this is, so here it's the remote is say, let's say theirs. And this was mine. So when you go with the resolve conflict, which one would you like to keep? Would you like to keep your mine, means ours, or theirs? Theirs means remote. Which one would you like to keep? Whether you want to keep this, whether you want to keep this, or whether you want to go and keep both of them with a single copies, that's possible. So with the local ID tools, you can go and resolve. But again, there are some add-on tools. Now tomorrow, if in case if I say that, okay, will I be able to resolve the conflicts right away from the portal of the service? Yes, it is possible. So for that itself, what is happening? So if you go down to the organization itself, into the organization, there is a setting, which is being referred as extensions. So there are many DevOps marketplace. You'll find out various extensions are here. There are various extensions, and tomorrow in case if I want to go and resolve, and I can add up the extensions here itself, say conflict. Although there are many for the time tracking, boards and security, there are many tools. There are many open tools Tomorrow, if in case if I want to go and resolve. Reason being, like say I want to go and get up a flexibility within the portal itself, I can identify which codes are getting conflicted and which one you want to merge, which one would you like to keep up. Although the ID tool has got a functionality within the local one, but still from the portal wise, I want to have a look. So you can pull out those extensions. Likewise, this. So this is one of my organization where the extension is getting installed. Although see, if you figure it out, there are many extensions, all right. Tomorrow, in case if I want to look up for the security, there are many security products, the one which you can go and integrate, the extensions can be installed. I want to go with the time trackers. So what are these? These are nothing but you can pull out and they can be well integrated up. So now you can go and integrate, right? So see, if I go to one of the projects and see that, let's say I'll go to the repos and okay, this was another project. Sorry for that. This was one. All right, so see. So you got a master, you got another branch, right? The one which you created up demo dev. A small change. I'll just do a small change here itself. Let's say, okay, it's nothing related that a particular change, a specific change is required. I can just make up any kind of a change. All right. Ideally, itself, these changes will be coming up from where? These changes will be coming up from here itself. In real life, it will be coming up from here, and then it's going to be merged here and synced. So what I did, I just made up a small change into one of my branches. So let's go to the master one, the default one, rather. So those changes are not here. Now, if in case if I say edit here itself also, okay, so it's a change 2.0. Now two changes are two different branches. Now you say let's go and merge from one branch to another branch itself. So what are you going to say? Pull request. And say create a pull request. From where? Source, target. Who is going to review the changes? Add the required reviewers. Obviously, someone while you are pulling up the request and you are merging up, someone has to review what changes you are doing and who is some. See, here itself it comes up complex. So there itself you get a benefit, right? See. So at least you can see what conflicts are happening, what were in which particular branches it has happened. Maybe let's say whatever the ID tools you are going to use up. So you get a flexibility. Now this came up why? Because due to the extension. Ideally that the conflicts can be resolved on your local ID tools, no doubt. But if in case if you are willing to do it from here, you can do it. So let's say, okay, which one would you like to keep? I'll say, okay, I want to keep this one, keep the whole target. And say complete. So while you're completing up, while you're merging, remember that okay, there is one checkbox which says the branch would be deleted automatically. Demo dev, right? This one. Once it's done, it's gone. Now if I go back, And let's verify. See here itself you can go and see commits. What changes have been done, what push has been done. So if I want to go and verify, I'll say I'll go to that location. I'll go to the same location itself where I modified it. See, this was the one. And if in case if you want to go and verify with the branch, oh, the branch got deleted, right? See, that branch is not available. So if in case if I'm looking for those branches are available for the retention for 30 days, you can retrieve them. So say demo dev. This was the name, right? But it's not able to figure it out. It should be the exact same name with the same case. See, then only it will be visible. So now I can say that restore. So now if I go to that branch and if I see the change which we resolved with the conflict, which one would you like to keep? Hello? You're saying something? Anyone? So that's how you can manage, right? So if in case if I go down, when you go inside of the merge, you can go with the pull requests, remote, and so ideally you're coming down all the way from here, all right? So now I'm going to give you 10 minutes, not for the break, all right? In which you can ask your, if in case you've got any questions or if you've got any queries, I'm going to give you 10 minutes for that. So please unmute one by one, and you can please let me know what your query is. Or else you can put up onto the chat itself also. Okay. So first question which comes up from Dilip, is it necessary to add the extension for the merging? No. Dilip, for the merge itself, you don't require any kind of an extension. That was basically a conflict merge resolution extension. So that tomorrow, in case if I want to go and resolve those conflicts from the portal, then only that extension might be required. Otherwise, for the merge, I can go and set up the pull request. That's it. Nothing else. All right.
How do we, let's say we don't have an IDE installed, so we want to clone the existing branch. So in the Azure repos itself, can you quickly demo, like, or let us know how we can clone?
Okay. So let's say, for example, you've got a local project and you want to push it out to the Azure report. That's what you mean to say?
Right.
Okay. No worries. I'm going to show you to that one.
Okay.
I'll show you to that one. Yes.
And probably you know how to clone the same because we want to keep a backup or something.
Oh yes, that is pretty easy. See, that again depends what kind of an ID tool you're going to use, and every
Let's say
single.
we don't have an IDE tool, we want to use Azure DevOps itself to do, these kind of things. Right now, there's no IDE tool. So
right now
we don't have an IDE tool, like we don't have a Visual Studio or anything. So we want to cut and clone the branch, import the existing project, and create the repositories and create branches. So in the Azure DevOps itself, I think there's an option if you could help in showing how that is done.
Oh, this you meant to say? Hang on.
So we import the project, right?
No, just a second. You mean to say for this one?
Right. We want to clone it. So
you
there
take it to the ID tool and go and import it there itself.
We don't have an IDE tool. That's where I'm trying to. We want to create another, repo or the branch here itself. Let's say a backup of the same branch. So we don't have an IDE tool. What is the option? How we can do it?
No, but what is the purpose you're going to solve with this one? I'm not getting it. What is the purpose?
We want to clone the existing where IDE we don't have. We just want to keep it as a backup before we start the all the changes and merging and things like that. Right? Just the first set when we do.
You meant to say that you want to have one more.
Parts unlimited _ let's say today's date or backup, and probably we will delete it 30 days later or something like that. We want to clone the same and keep it, while we don't have an IDE tool right now.
Okay,
So,
okay. I got. Means you want to have a multiple copies of these ones, right? Simple.
just one, yeah. We want to without using IDE.
Okay. Let me see one more question. Can you show how to push the code from the local to the Azure River? Okay, yes. Kutrala, it is possible that I can show it to you that one itself also. But again, for that, I need to go and set up an environment. Yeah, that's possible. So yeah, I'll show it to you that how it can be done. All right. Anyone else? Yes. Any questions? Any queries so far? Anyone, please?
Yeah, so I have like one query around merge conflict tooling. So let's say for one branch, we create a automation in terms of, let's say, when someone checks in, I want to have it triggers a pull request to another dev branch from where if pull request is successful, a build gets triggered and a kind of dev environment gets up and running. So in that case, if conflict happens, do we require to do a manual intervention, or how can we configure something like automatically if conflict happens? What are the next steps and what are the things we should follow?
That can be scripted, but again, as far as the conflicts have been considered, what I understand, there should be a manual intervention. Why? Because you need to make sure that why the conflict happened, which one would you like to keep. So how? So in those cases, today as conflict happened, tomorrow another different type of a conflict happens. How you can go and script it out and make sure that everything gets automatically executed and auto resolved, and it fixes up the stuff, right? So what I understand is basically you should have some manual intervention, what I think as per the best practice. Otherwise, say tomorrow if we say that if I want to go with a script in the task, how it's going to identify that which one you're going to keep up? Tell me.
Thanks, that answers. Actually, I was under same assumption, but just asked like because you are coming from different vast experience, so sort of like inquiring, is there something possible scenario there?
Faisal, in this case, see, practically speaking up, there are certain activities which does requires and which is recommendable to have a manual intervention, right? Tomorrow, if in case, let's say, for example, there are some code bugs, there are some code validations needs to be done. Will it be possible for you to go and execute and fix up those bugs automatically and go with the build and the release and then what's the purpose of the manual section, right? I hope you got it, right?
Yeah, got it.
Okay. So let me see what's the other question. What are the advantages of the Azure DevOps? Okay, Azure DevOps over Jenkins. Who was that? Birata Roy. Okay. What does Jenkins does?
Oh,
What does Jenkins does?
that also build platform. CI/CD.
Automate the tasks, yeah, both CA and CD.
So simple like that. It's one of the CI/CD tool, right? What is Team City?
Rajesh, what is the main difference? Why you use the Azure DevOps? Any main advantages there?
Can anyone here itself can anyone give me one good reason that why to go with the DevOps Azure DevOps rather than Jenkins? Anyone, please? Anyone from here can answer his question?
See, let me answer. See, Jenkins, it's a integration tool. Okay, there we are adding like Git and each and everything separate. But in Azure DevOps, okay, we have this repository and other things. Okay, by default we will get all these things.
Microsoft Azure is a cloud-based.
That's really good. Thank you so much, Arjun. That's really good. Prasad also. So see, when we go with the Jenkins itself, each and every component is separate, right? But with the Azure DevOps, you are keeping it all structured. And definitely, yes, as it's one of the Microsoft product, you're getting a support for them itself also. And as now, when you say with the Jenkins, don't you go and set up the task? Don't you go with the setup with the continuous integration? Don't you go with the customization? You're maintaining a separate servers and servers. If in case if I want to take up a benefit of the Azure DevOps, I can go with the setup of the pipelines. The pipeline itself it gives me the support of the self-based agent, like say Microsoft hosted agent, which you don't even need to manage that one, where all the tasks are executed, where all the jobs are running.
There are also Dockers there, Docker containers.
Docker is something different, right?
That also separate agent. That also self-hosted agent now.
Self-hosted agent is possible. Self-hosted agent is possible, no doubt. That can be as a VM, that can be as a running as a container itself also, right?
Okay, one more question that project-wise will restrict now. Project-wise, in Azure DevOps, project-wise,
You can
we'll able
restrict.
to
You can
in
restrict with the permissions and delegations. Yes.
okay, in Jenkins not have those things.
Obviously, see, whenever you're going to compare the product, there are various projects. Even like say there is a team sitting, which does a similar kind of an activity. So obviously, at certain point of time when we are taking up a decision that which product we are going to use up, obviously a comparative matrix is there. So I can share some of the links, references. At least that can give you a very high level differences between these ones to take up a decision. All right. Okay, I've got one more question which says, could you please let me know how to specify the custom hook scripts in Azure DevOps so that while committing and pushing the code, it should validate based on to the, okay. Maybe let me go and set up the local and then probably if possible I can show you that one itself also, right? Any other query other than this one? Anyone else?
One more question there. Hello.
Yes, I'm listening. Go ahead.
If we join the one new employee in the company, we are providing the access Azure DevOps from Active Directory. We are creating the user in Active Directory from Azure DevOps. We are mapping only. So directly is able to map the Azure DevOps without going to Active Directory.
It is possible. That's what I showed you. That the DevOps organization can be well integrated with Azure AD, and if the Azure AD is already having your corporate accounts, you can pull it out from there itself also.
Okay.
That's what I showed you earlier, right? All of you.
Okay.
Not a question from my end. It's just a request. Like when you throughout the session when you will cover, I would love to see something around let's say branching. Let's say one branch. We created a group in that project level teams group. So one group assigned to one branch only check-ins and that kind of role. So if while at the end of our session within 5 days, if you can show something around how to do that, either through PowerShell or directly it is feasible inside the browser itself. So that will help us.
That's what I showed you. If in case if you see, like say this is what I showed you, that if in case if I go with the branches and let's say there is one of the branches, right? Say for example, we created a demo branch and here itself you can, if you want to look up, hang on. So this was the one, right? So where it's gone. Okay, this one. From here itself you can go and set up the security and let's say, for example, I'll say Sam, all right. Sam is the authorized person that who can make up a contribute, who can edit the policies, who can force the push, who can manage the permissions. So ideally what you're doing, you're customizing the permissions as per your own needs. So whenever that required user, the authorized user logs in, he will be able to perform those tasks, right? Got it?
Okay.
But first of all, you need to go and set up the permissions, then allow him to sign in on your DevOps. So once he signs in, then after only the right privileges which has been assigned to him, that will be configured for him by default. Okay. Is that clear?
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Okay.
Hello Rajesh, I joined 30-45 minutes late. So did you share the skill pipe and Azure Pass code or will you share today?
Who is this?
I am Anshuman Mishra.
Anshuman, let's say first of all, did you mark your attendance?
Yes.
Okay. So then probably let's say when did you mark? Within the first hour or say or later?
Around 55 to 60 minutes between. RMS.
After 60 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Then probably by the end of the day itself you might receive that on your email.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Maybe let's say whoever has filled up the attendance, marked the attendance within the first hour, they might receive bit early, and the people who have marked their attendance bit later, they might receive by the end of the day. Okay. So just wait for the, and do let me know once you receive. Okay. All right. So let's say. So this was how you can go and set up the permissions. All right. In another 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to give you some time for the practice, each one of you, so that you can try the same stuff. I'm not integrating with Azure AD because you don't have any Azure subscription, but at least you can try creating up the DevOps organization, try importing of the project, try creating up the multiple branches, see the conflict, resolve the conflict, and set up the pull requests and the merges and everything, whatever I've showed it to you. At least you can do that. You don't require any Azure subscription for that one. Simple. You don't require any kind of any other environment. You just need to have the DevOps organization. That's what I showed you how you can create up later. Okay. So in another 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to give you some time, and then I'm going to guide you itself also what you're going to do, and then you can practice. Okay. So that's how we can manage and structure. Okay. So I'll just get up a link. Just give me a second. I'll just I've stopped the sharing deliberately. Okay, I'm just trying to pull out a link from my email. Just give me a second, all right, so that I can show you that how you can push up the code from the local to the remote. Just give me a second. I'll just take up a minute and then fetch out that link, and then I'll show it to you. Anyways, I'm not able to figure it out, so let me just go and build up everything for you. I'll show you from here itself only. Just a minute, all right? Let's say, for example, tomorrow if you get up the subscription ready, maybe you can try later. I'll just show you from here. Let's create a resource, and I'll go to the marketplace. And just from here itself, let's say, for example, I'll just look for Visual Studio. All right. So I'll just pull up this one here. These are some ready-made images, all right. These are some ready-made images, the one which you can build up. So I'm just looking for a community edition, all right. So this is free, community edition. I'll go with this one, all right. So let me just quickly create up. It should not take much time. Yes, demo. Preferably, I'll pick up a smaller size one just due to the cost. All right. Although you can pick up any, it's up to you. So this is again a bundle machine, the one which comes along with the community edition installed, or you can install it separately itself also if required. Okay, so anyways, let me see if in case I can go up. I'll quickly deploy a VM, all right? A simple VM. This is just to showcase if in case if you've got a local repository, how you can push it out from there itself also, right? So let's say this lab VM. Okay. I'm going with Windows 2012, smaller size. That should be okay. All right, so let's go review and say create. And in the meanwhile, this is happening. I'll just remind you again. See, this is the link which I've already shared, the LET panel, right? The learning enhancements tool, which I've already shared. I'll share it once again onto your chat. This is the